Howdy, and welcome back to the Texas Bucket List. You know, football season is all the rage in the fall, but it's also a big time of year for the band. Over the years, I've seen all sorts of halftime shows from across the state, but there's always been one that really stood out. Thanks to their incredible amount of energy and passion they put into every show, the Prairie View A&M University Marching Storm is just one of those bands that every Texan has to see and hear firsthand. During the fall semester at Prairie View A&M University, the band has a big task on its hands every weekend, preparing for the next opponent. Known as the Marching Storm, this group of students is keeping time on a Texas tradition that goes way back in time.
Historically, Prairie View had a band that goes all the way back to the late 1890s.
Dr. Timmy Zachary has been the director of the band since 2012.
I had no idea what I was inheriting. I knew after doing my research that the institution was already famous. They had done the Rose Bowl parade, the governor's inauguration, the presidential inauguration, the Super Bowl. So this band was big time. You know, that was a little frightening at the time coming into that situation, but I think we handled it like a champ, and we've taken it to the next step in the next evolution of band.
How do you do that with a band that's accomplished so much?
Well, you do it with humility. You approach it with humility. You respect everything that was here when you got here, and those things that you can push and move forward and make better, you take them forward.
Dr. Zach, as he's known to students, has taken the band on to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. But their bread and butter is being there on game day, because halftime is where the Prairie View A&M University Marching Storm comes in at about a Category 5.
That 9-minute show is kind of like watching a 40-minute boxing match. These boxers train for hours to do what they do. And these bandsmen, we are athletes in the truest form, in the truest sense, that we are here all day, every day, doing what we do in order to make sure that people enjoy what we do.
As the students prepare for game day, it's amazing to watch what a well-oiled machine this program is. Everybody knows where to be and when. This stems from Dr. Zachary's leadership in turning these college kids into leaders of tomorrow.
Respect what you do. Don't come in here halfway, because I tell them I'm really good on either end. If you're all out of it, I'm cool with you. It's great. You don't want to do it. If you're all in, I'm cool with you. But if you're in the middle, we have the worst problems, because you can't commit.
But these students are committed.
Working with Dr. Zach, it's a learning experience.
Aaron Bird is a drum major and helps with getting the band ready for their big performance on game day. Is a lot of pressure being a drum major?
Sometimes, but really you can't let the pressure, get to you, because you're here for, one goal, like to move the band forward.
It's another family in a sense.
J.B. Camus is a tuba player, and he too knows the importance of the band.
Provides another aspect to the football game. Not only do you have your game, but you have your entertainment as well. And also, with all the drills that we do, it really catches your attention.
They do this with a badge of honor and pride, that the band means that much to them, to give up certain things that most people define their college careers with.
In the hours leading up to kickoff, the band comes together and practices for their performance. The preparation itself is compelling to watch.
That is what we've been striving for these 10 years, for them to take ownership and not have to push them, but for them now to get out and do it themselves. And as any band director, that's when you know you've reached a level of success. That's the success that we've been waiting for. Not to have to drive them, but to let them drive.
The band members at Prairie View aren't just getting a lesson in liability. They're also learning about life and how to articulate their thoughts in real-world situations.
Being responsible to other people. And that's a difficult thing to do with this generation. This generation is disjointed, is disconnected. They are, text babies. The biggest fear that my students have is talking to me. If you come to me, you're gonna come correct, so that when you go wherever you're going and you have your first job interview, you're gonna remember what it felt like to come in my office and say whatever it was that you were asking for, that you had to ask for it the right way. And they're not accustomed to that challenge. If you can't do the things that your employer or the person that you're working with is asking you for, you will no longer have a job. And they need to get used to that right here, right now, in order to be the best persons that they can be in whatever career that they choose.
Dr. Zachary passionately preaches these things every day. Then he makes sure his percussion section is ready to put on a show. The rolling thunder that is the marching storm draws a crowd while they make their way to the stadium, with eager onlookers excited about the amazing display they're about to see.
The energy is always put into the enthusiasm of the students. If they can give the audience that enthusiasm, they could be playing Mary Had a Little Lamb. It'd be the greatest version ever.
We're here to put on the show, handle our business.
As soon as the band makes it to the field, it's time to put on their game faces. While the team exerts all sorts of energy out on the field, the marching storm does the same in the stands. And finally, halftime arrives, and not a single patron leaves their seat.
People want to stay and watch the show. That's what they're here for.
What's your favorite part about this show?
My favorite part is seeing them understand what success means and how work comes before success.
These 9 minutes won't define these students' lives, but it sure does build up their charisma and character, so that wherever life does lead, they'll be ready to march in and take it.
To bring in these kids who are hard luck kids and give them the opportunity to become engineers, to become nurses, to become doctors, to become lawyers. We have a representative of those particular professions in just the last 9 years that I've been here.
Wow.
It forces your work ethic.
We're perfectionists. That's one thing about us.
We've all seen bands, but what the Marching Storm brings to life is a story. And it's an age-old story. It's a story rooted in history of the institution and the people. And until you've seen it, nobody can explain it to you.